right? You're picking up a ball at 6, picking up a ball at 12, 13, doesn't matter. And it takes you a moment to spend that money, a moment to make a decision, a moment to miss your shot. Just one little split second.
Family, what's going on? This is Will Roundtree on the Full-Time CEO podcast, the shit they don't tell you. And today I have a very special guest. Well, all my guests are special, but I get excited every time I have a new episode. So I'm going to always use that line. But today, not only is this individual nationally recognized, played professional sports at the highest level. I mean, some people, it's a dream of theirs to be able to play at this level. This individual made it happen. Just a little bit about his career. Cuttino Mobley, retired NBA star. Cuttino is an entrepreneur. After a long career in the NBA, he has partnered with other executives to bring various business visions to fruition in the cannabis industry, and is the central focus of one of his visions. Cuttino started this project in 2009 by finding a proposed medical dispensary in the state of his former college alma mater, University of Rhode Island. Like I mentioned, he played professional sports at the highest level, actually started with the Houston Rockets, played with one of my favorite point guards, Steve Franchise Francis. Cuttino is the all-time 11th scorer in the Rockets franchise history. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my good friend, my brother, Cuttino Mobley. What's going on, Cuttino?
My man, how you feeling?
Oh, man, I'm blessed, man. I thank you. First of all, just thank you for taking time out of your day for hopping on. But before we get started, even just like how we got an opportunity to meet each other, man, it was like since day one. I mean, you reached out to me on social media. You sent me your number. I hit you back. And it's like I've been knowing you forever, man.
Yeah, listen, man, it's like the Black excellence, right? I just want to be a part of what the amazing things that you're doing. And I think we all should come together, the Black and Browns come together to form an amazing company alliance. And so with me following you, I admire the things that you have done for so many other individuals. Ever since as soon as I reached out, you reached back out. And ever since then, it's been golden. I appreciate that.
No, likewise, man. And so definitely, again, thank you. I know you're in the middle being a dad right now, all that good stuff. So thank you for taking a few minutes out of your time. But let's definitely jump right in it, man. So on this podcast, we talk about, being a full-time CEO. Right now, you're being a full-time dad. How's that balance been for you, man? Because I know, when you're playing during the season, you may not have had that time. So I can only imagine how that feels for you now, being able to be there for the children.
Yeah, man, listen, it's not an easy thing, right? It's not an easy thing, but at the end of the day, as long as you can manage your time, I think that's what's best, right? So for me, when I'm on the basketball court, I'm thinking basketball. When I'm off the basketball court, what do I have to do next? Is it pick up my daughter from dance? Is it, take my son to soccer? Is it, go play with the kids at the playground or something like that? I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of help, right? My kid's mother is amazing, where she helps out a lot. My mother, my sister, my oldest sons, a lot of them are very helpful to me. So then now me being just like I said, the CEO of my kids. Definitely. And doing a lot of those things. I have 50-50 custody. I'm a single dad. But again, as long as you can manage your time, I think you can be able to pull off whatever you want to. It's just about how do you construct that. So, when I played basketball, to get better, I had to wake up really early before everybody else to get their practice in. And then, before everybody else get their practice in. And then before by the end of the night, I have 3 practices. That made me become better. And I think reading a lot of different books, looking at other fathers before me. My father was blessed to have 4 parents, 2 fathers, and both of them gave me something different. So I just take a lot of that information on top of what I've learned myself, and I, be able to form the best version of myself so I can help my children. So, I think the whole key of that is just managing your time.
Definitely, man. And I'm glad you shared that. And the reason I wanted to open up with that is because on this journey of being that full-time CEO, that's one of the things we fight with is our time. A lot of us are fathers. There's a lot of women who are mothers, who are entrepreneurs, and that is something that we struggle with. And so definitely I'm glad that you talked about that, because you have to find that. We find sacrifice in building our business. We got to find sacrifice in spending time with the family. And so it becomes a duality and understanding that is going to be sacrifice on both ends. So let's start from the beginning, Kat, and talk about, growing up in Philly. That's a big basketball town. A lot of great athletes have come from there, whether it's been football, basketball, etc. At what age did you get into sports? How did that start for you?
So my cousin John Mobley played football. Our family was a football and boxing family.
Okay.
So my cousin John Mobley played for the Denver Broncos. He was a linebacker, won 2 Super Bowls with Terrell Davis and John Elway and Shannon Sharp and all those guys. That's how I knew those guys at a very younger age.
Wow.
I think for me, my father was a boxer. My brother, our family were boxers as well. So I boxed first, and then I played football, and I picked the basketball up at 13. So for me, I played all different sports, but for me, basketball was my true love. As much as I did love football, I just couldn't gain no weight when I was younger. So, so yes. So, I think I was speaking about this in another interview about the outliers of Malcolm Gladwell and the 10,000 hour theory of using those 10,000 hours to be able to master my craft in a short period of time. I had the Kobe Bryants and the Rasheed Wallace and the Alvin Williams and Aaron McKees and Eddie Joneses and all those different types of pros I grew up with. So, I'm watching them become pro, and all of us didn't even know we were going to be pros. We just wanted to go to college, except Kobe. Kobe wanted to go to pros right away.
Right.
But, all of us, we were like, let's get a scholarship first. So I think that's where that burning desire to work ethics I got was on top of already, being a boxer and a football player. So, I was just saying that, I was just lucky to be around these different types of cats that helped me become a pro, basically.
Definitely, man. So let's touch a little bit about that. Growing up and feeling like you say you got a chance to grow with some Hall of Famers. What was it like being able to grow up around and seeing Kobe back in his early days? What did you see the star in him at that time?
Yeah, well, listen, I met Kobe 12, 13 years old, I think he was. And he was already playing basketball. He was pretty good, for his age. But Kobe really peaked around at 15, 16 years old.
Wow.
Where he just understood the game. Again, I picked up a ball at 13, so I had a lot more catching up to do. But my best friends was Rasheed Wallace, Alvin Williams, Jason Lawson, Tyrone. It was like a lot of those guys that were around me. So I caught on pretty quickly in being around so much competition. So our tournaments in our leagues in the summertime was called Sunny Hill. And it was the best in the country. Everybody knew about Sunny Hill League. And, the who's who played in it. So we got to be able to play against each other all the time. So, iron sharpens iron. So, at the end of the day, that's how I became really good that fast. And for Kobe, he just was obsessed with it. And that's what made me become obsessed with that, by watching him, younger than me, become so obsessive and yet trying to become a perfectionist.
Wow.
Right? Both of us being Virgos, things like that. And I'm
Right.
trying to figure out, why am I so obsessed with this sport? And there's just the love of it, man.
No, absolutely, man. And I love just hearing some of those backstories, because like you say, iron sharpens iron, and you had iron around you to help you to continue to sharpen. So fast forward, you started picking up a ball at 13, you're playing, with these others who are extremely competitive, obviously, because all of you guys made the league. And then you go to University of Rhode Island. What was the college experience like? Was it, were you able to just start playing right away as a starter? Did you have to grow into that? What was that level of competition like for you?
Yeah, I think for me, I was lucky to be able to start as a freshman.
Wow.
I think the reason was because I hustled a lot, right? I was, I don't know if I was skilled, because I wasn't as skilled yet. I was more raw, right? But I think for me, it was the hard work, I think, what the coaches loved. I'm hustling for all the balls. I'm trying to block every shot. I'm trying to steal the ball. I'm doing things like that to try to catch up to everybody else who's been playing ball for so many years. So I think with that being said, I had some really good mentors in college too, who were actually pros. They didn't go to the NBA, but they tried out for the NBA. So I watched them work out, and I'm like, wow, Abdul Fox and Cordell Llewellyn and a couple of those guys when I was at university. So, they kind of taught me how to be a pro at a very young age. So, I mean, I think it was just like the destiny and the alignment of me being around so many guys that literally were fighting for the same position or the same goal, basically. And it helped me become a pro fast.
You know what? That story reminds me of like when I first went for a job in the sales industry, and as they say, sales typically, it's unlimited the income you can make. And I remember going on an interview and the hiring manager sitting across the table from me, and he said, "Why should I hire you? You don't seem like the prototypical salesperson." And I said, and I looked him right in his eye and I said, "Because I'm going to outwork everybody." And I tell people that work ethic can open up doors for you that talent may not open for you, because it's a lot of talented individuals. And so I would definitely say that, your hard work, your level of discipline, your just laser focused vision. And I know you use the word vision a lot, even today in a lot of the things that you're doing. So you start as a freshman, you're going through, you're at Rhode Island, and then the NBA is knocking on your door. What was that transition like? Because I would assume that was a dream of yours as you actually started taking basketball seriously.
Well, yeah, listen, I wasn't thinking about the pros until I started playing with pros. And I started playing with pros around 19 years old.
Wow.
So vision, the word vision is super important, right? It's a part of the manifestation, right? So you can't just manifest. You got to be able to see yourself inside the moment. And while you're seeing yourself inside the moment, you got to be able to repeat that. And while you repeat that, you got to add that with action, right? And while you adding that with action, you got to add it with discipline, right? When you add it with discipline, right, it's got to be perfection, right? So the perfection is something you'll never get. But if you're a perfectionist, you'll get closer to your goal than anything else. So for me, I envisioned it, because I saw it. I said, oh, okay, I'm playing with these guys. I can become better because they've been playing this for this long. And I would talk to myself like that. And people thought I was crazy. It's like, yo, dude, you just started playing basketball. How you know you're going to be a pro? I'm like, I don't care what you think. I know what I feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? What you think and what I feel is totally different. So I think that for me, of literally tricking myself into believing at a very young age that I do belong. So, to any, people out there, you have to literally not just say it, you have to be it, right? You have to walk it, right? You have to envision it. You have to become it, and then that's what I did.
Wow. And that's so important, because when it comes to really having that vision, there's so many people, believe it or not, and I know you've dealt with this just being around, where you've been around, people talk themselves out of their vision sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, they talk themselves out of their vision. And so
I understand that you may have been around people who are like that. What do you say to someone who may come to you and be like, man, how do I deal with this adversity? I don't know if I can do this. Have you become a vessel for people to help them overcome those mental blocks?
Well, yeah, listen, man, it starts at a very young age. I try to teach my kids that now, instead of coddling, I try to expose them into uncomfortable situations so that when you start getting older, there's always as soon as you walk out that door, you can only do but so much for your child, right?
True.
Now the child is on their own, so they have to learn how to critical think, right? Learn how to survive without you. And it's I see you with your son and me with my kids and things like that. It's like, as much as we are fathers or mothers, that we are vulnerable, right? Because we want them to do well, but we want them to be strong as well. Right. So for us, putting your child in uncomfortable situations at a very young age helps them when they're older be comfortable when everything is uncomfortable, right? Because in basketball, there's times in basketball, man, where you have anxiety, where you may fear this, or you may be scared of that, or you may doubt yourself. That happens. When Kobe I use Kobe, I can use myself, I can use Ray Allen, I can use all of us. But, just think about when Kobe was playing in Utah, he's the air balls. He was fighting through that doubt that was there. And listen, the doubt got him that day during the playoffs because he had a couple air balls. But then he went back in the gym and he said, you know what, I'm not going to feel like this no more. And if I do, I know it's familiar and I can overcome it. Wow. See, a lot of people don't do that at a very young age. There's a lot of these soccer moms or dads, and they're trying to protect their child from failure. You just shouldn't have to do that. And when you're trying to protect your child from something that you yourself did not overcome, now you're doing that generational curse will still, take it all the way to when your children have children. What you got to do is be able to break that and say to yourself, like, listen, hey, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to fear. It's okay to do this. It's okay to do that, because that's a part of emotion. It's part of life. Right. But like understanding it, letting it be your ally. Right. Like, listen, I understand what losing feels like. I'm not saying I'm going to embrace it, but at the end of the day, I know what it is. So if I don't practice, if I don't shoot, but I get in the game, guess what? 9 times out of 10, I'm going to lose.
Continue.
So if I know how to stay away from that, if I know how to stay away from fear or anxiety by getting my behind in the gym, right? If I know how to do these different things, or you know what, I'm going to start talking to Will because I want my credit to be better, and I want my business to be this, and I want this to be that, because I don't want to lose millions of dollars no more. I want to be able to gain those things. This is the uncomfortable situations. Like, okay, I don't mind being embarrassed right now because I don't know.
Wow.
But I want to get to a point where I'm comfortable when something does bad happen. I ain't got to call Will every single day. He's taught me how to do boom, 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 and boom. That's what life is about, right? And I think a lot of these parents out here, because I don't care how successful they are, they have conditioned themselves to be, in basketball, you would say, if I'm really good at my right hand, I don't want to work on my left, but you're going to get exposed sooner or later.
Definitely.
Right. So we as a society got to learn how to, like, okay, it's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's okay to feel like this. It's okay to feel like that. Right. As long as you understand it. See, what you don't understand, you kind of shy away from. But then now you have your off seed and your mini me. What are you going to teach them? You can't teach them what you don't know. Right. If I'm an elephant, I can't teach my how to be a lion. Right. If it's a lion in front of me, I can't do that.
Right.
Right. I gotta teach them what I know, but how I feel. Right. So I want to Cuttino, I know how it feels to have anxiety and fear and cramming a test and, oh, you lose millions of dollars and, oh, I don't know about the credit. I know how that feels. So now what I want to do is I want to be able to set myself up to be able to say, okay, well, listen, my guy Will taught me this. My guy ML taught me this. This is what this is how I felt when it. So this is how this is how you can erase some of those mistakes early and do this. So as long as I can be able to teach them that, their destiny is their destiny.
Absolutely.
Right? No. You can only give them but so much. So that's what that is.
And that's important. And like you say, using that term generational curses, it's like poverty is a taught behavior. Because we learn it from our parents, their parents learn it from theirs, and so forth and so on. We have to be the ones to help to correct that. And a lot of that changes with information, as I was talking about earlier. And so in regards to that, you make it to the NBA, you break some generational wealth curses, by being able to play again at the highest level. You're a world recognized athlete. You play along Steve Francis and some of the other greats. Was it always sweet for you? Were there adversities? Because a lot of times people say, you know what, if I can just make some money, my life would be different. Were there adversities you had to deal with to be able to play as a professional athlete and be in the rare air of those, that fraternity, as I like to call it, in the NBA?
Man, let me tell you something. It's more sour than it is sweet.
Wow.
You just gotta figure out, you know what I mean? Like, what do you feel like? Right? Like, everybody sees the cars and the women and the houses and this and all that. That's momentary. It's very minute to exactly what's really going on. The late nights, the early mornings, the suicides, the getting cussed out. It's just so much that goes on, right? When you see us do certain things, it takes you years to become a millionaire in that game, right? You're picking up a ball at 6, picking up a ball at 12, 13, doesn't matter. And it takes you a moment to spend that money, a moment to make a decision, a moment to miss a shot, just one little split second, right? So, again, I tell people this all the time. You have to fall in love with the process. If you fall in love with the process, like I'm falling in love with the business process, right? Because I'm taking the same thing I did in basketball to help me become the most successful individual, not only for myself and my kids to see, right, that I can become before I get out of here.
Absolutely.
So it's not a cheat. I mean, it's the same tactics, the same things you do. Wake up early, you read, but a lot of people don't want to do that. Because see, when you start learning something new and it's uncomfortable, you feel embarrassed. Your ego starts to take over, right?
Absolutely.
You never put your ego before your goal. Never, ever put your ego before your goal. The ego will trick the hell out of you. And then they keep you in the back. Your goal comes first. Ego comes last, right? So the only thing you should be talking to is your ego is that I can do it. That's it. After that, he needs to shut up and sit down. Now go through the process. Fall in love with the process and do everything possible. Expose yourself. And for me, that's what I've been doing. So that's to anybody that's out there, fall in love with that process is the best thing.
Definitely. And I love that you talked about that because I think, I know a lot of people just see the end goal. And like you said, and I never even thought about it in that perspective, Kat, is like you talked about that process of making it to the NBA is like 18, 19 years for some people. But we as individuals, as citizens who are just spectators, we think it's overnight. But that's a work ethic you put in, like you say, since you were 13. Some players since they were 4 years old. And so definitely. So transitioning from there, you're in the NBA. You had a 10-year career. You've played at the highest level. You've played with some of the greats. You've, accomplished just about what the average person probably may not accomplish just in their career. But then you have some people who are like, wanting to be able to accomplish on their level. What do you say to someone like that who say, man, I could never be where you're at, but to still help them to feel comfortable enough to know that no matter what journey or path they're on, there's still a level of success that is for them?
Well, listen, everybody has each his own and everybody has their own desires, right? You just got to be careful of your wants and your needs.
Definitely.
But I do say whatever it is that you do, whatever it is, be a student, right? And I think in being that student, fall in love with it, right? Get up early for it, right? Go to bed with it, right? Dream about it, right? Because then I think those things will get you there quicker than the average Joe, right? And Kobe was speaking about this, and we did this because all of us were doing this together, right? You're waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to practice before school starts. And then when school starts, after school, you're getting workout in. And then it was practice. And then after practice, I'm going back home, doing my homework. And then I'm going to go get some shots up at night before I go to bed at night. I'm practicing 3 or 4 times a day when somebody's only practicing once, thinking that's cool. And that's cool for you. But for me, I'm trying to perfect this. I'm loving this. That's all I think about. Obsess over what your passion is. See, because if your subconscious, your passion is taking care of people, you're going to be living a very long time because guess what?
Wow.
They ain't going to never, ever be happy and you not either. You're going to be frustrated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that ain't working. So you got to obsess over things, man, and make sure that those things that you obsess over is something that you truly love, right? It ain't even really got to be about money. It's not as hard as people think, right? You just have to, whatever you choose, right? You say to yourself, okay, I'm on ground level. Okay, this is what I need to do. I need to put myself in a room with the smartest or the people who have done this before. Whatever they have done, I need to get to these. I need to get to this moment because then, listen, whether it's Steve Jobs or it's Bill Gates or whoever it is, whoever made the first computer and blah 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 blah, they watched them. So at the end of the day, whoever you are, you can do that too.
Absolutely.
Right? It's nothing to say you can't do it. It's just that are you committing? And it started off with time. Are you committing your time? Right? Because time is the richest thing that God has given us, right? Next to choice, right? And chance. There's time. And if you mess up your time, you can burn money, you can lose money. You lose time. you can forget about it.
Definitely. And if you burn your time away, you don't even have the choice to create chances for yourself.
Exactly.
So I definitely love that, man. So fast forward, you're in the NBA. You had this, beautiful career, man. And then, you finish out your playing career professionally in the NBA. What was life like after the NBA? Because, just based upon me following your career, you loved the game, but it didn't make you. You were always your own individual and all of that. So what was life like for you after the NBA, Cuttino?
I had to take a step back and say, all right, how do I become the better version of myself? And I think me being a family person, and having, my mom and my sisters and my brothers and my children all around me at all times, I think that helped me transition better than most guys, right? I wanted to be more around my family. My kids are my world, as everybody knows that. So, I love to see that development. My daughter's the youngest at 8 years old, so she's going to get to a point where she don't feel like being around me for a minute. So I got to find another hobby.
Right.
So, but it was pretty cool, man. I don't golf. Yeah, I picked up tennis. I love that. So, but just for me, I was very secure with myself, so I didn't have to have a nervous breakdown of who I am. I know who I am. I'm Cuttino Mobley. I played basketball. I'm not basketball. So, a lot of guys identify themselves of what they've done. I identify myself for who I am, right? And the development that I've grown since I was a little boy from North Philadelphia to now. And I love myself. I fell in love with the growth I have and the mistakes I've made. It's all good. And the things I've done for not only myself, but others, I pat myself on the back, and I want to be able to continue to help others and throughout this process, man, because, being inside your mind, it can be dangerous or it can be beautiful. And I pick beautiful.
Definitely. So let's transition a little bit, Cuttino. Speaking of you being yourself, like, where you get these fly suits from, man? Like, hey, so now the NBA, they got this thing where everybody coming out, they showing their outfits. I'm like, man, that was cat before social media.
I think I started that.
You were the originator of coming to the games being fly, man. Where did that style come from, man?
You know what? I ain't even gonna hold you. My mom and my dad makes clothes. Like, he'll literally go get fabric. He'll make his own pants. My mom owned a boutique in the hood, and I would go. We would go to New York, and we would get clothes, different clothes, and she thought we would sell to hair salons. So I was like 12 years old, 13, hustling my mom on weekends just to get a couple of dollars, you know what I'm saying, for my pockets. And, I went to Catholic school. So, we had to always have ties, and the pants had to be creased and blah, blah, blah. But, my mom's a stylist. She's an interior designer and she's a stylist. So, and watching my mom and watching my dad, they're both super, super fly. And I just loved it. And I just loved to be, truthfully, I didn't even think about being an NBA player. I wanted to be a businessman that had running a multi-billion-dollar company. That's what I wanted to do when I was younger. Right. So, and the NBA just fell in my lap. But, that's what, for me, that's where that came from, man. And a lot of guys would be like in Miami, and I did the Miami thing and the Vegas and all that. But like, I was in Italy, I was in Paris, I was, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in Germany, I'm in all these different New York and fashion week. I'm doing all those different things when I was younger. And for us, and especially guys, from our hood, especially in the early 2000s, that was weird to do.
Yeah.
Now I see guys do that.
That was the big T-shirt era.
Oh my God! You had a bed sheet on your body. Crazy.
Yeah, man. Like, when I see some of your fits, I'm like, I know that didn't come off the rack. Like I'd be like, dang, like, where'd he get that color from? Like, man, you always are fly, man. So no, I definitely have to make sure to give you your kudos, because you was coming to the game fly before social media, as I often say, man. So you transition, you're going into entrepreneurship, you're starting businesses, and then an opportunity comes for the big three. Talk a little bit about that, man, and how did that opportunity come your way?
Yeah, so Corey Biggetti hit me and Ice Cube, and it was like, listen, we're about to start this league up. It's a players' league. You'll be, all of us will be owners of this. And he named the people. I'm like, listen, enough said, Cube. Whatever you want us to do, let's do it. So when Cube told me that, and Corey, they didn't really have to pitch me. I was all for it. It's basketball. It's another brother starting a company. Whatever you need me to do, I'm doing. So that it was super simple and easy, man. So that's why, I jumped in with arms wide open.
Definitely, man. And I love it because we get a chance to still see some of our favorite heroes play at a high level. Like I tell people, if you've never been to a Big 3 game, it's competitive. Like you see the elbows on the court, you see the hard fouls and all of that. But I definitely want to share a quick story, man. When you guys were playing out here in Vegas over the summer, I had hit you up, saw you were coming to town, brought my son to the game, and you were sitting next to Ice Cube. So I had texted you. And you came over there, we dapped it up and hugged and everything. And I was like, man, Cat, my son want to meet Cube. And you was like, man, I got you. Come on over. And so, I always, just really want to share that story. And I appreciate that because it could have been a situation where it'd be like, man, no, Cube, tired or whatever. But, man, like I say, man, you've always opened up your arms to me and the family. You'll text me, check on me. You'll check on my son. So, man, I definitely always appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no, brothers, man. That's what it is, bro. If I can do anything, man, I'll do my best. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that, Cube is so down to earth. He's an amazing brother. You know what I'm saying? We think just alike, just like yourself. So when you have brothers like that can unite, man, we're very powerful. You know what I'm saying? So kudos.
No, absolutely. So as we wrap up, Cat, let's talk about, some of your business ventures you have going on right now. You're into the cannabis industry, the commodities industry, the PPP industry, and you briefly talked about taking that same mindset, that same discipline, accountability, responsibility, and adapting it to your business mogul and being that full-time CEO. And so what have you learned from your basketball career that's propelled you in your entrepreneurship career?
I think it's super plain and simple, man. It's about your time management, right? Time management is the most important thing. And then after time management, who's going to run the company, right? It's not going to be me, right? I'm going to hire a cats or get really smart guys to be able to do what they do best, right? I think me being a curator, right, the creator of something, but yet being humble enough to know that, like, listen, you're not in finance. Like, let this guy do that part. Or you're not in accounting. Let this guy do this one. You're not, you weren't the CEO of Pepsi. Let him do this when it comes to the drinks. Whatever, you're not this. Like, understanding that for me, and I was a captain of every single team I was on since my second year in the NBA, no matter who was on the team. And I think the reason why is because I humbled myself and understand that I don't know everything, right? And I just want to be a part of something big, right? I don't have to have 100% of nothing. I just want 1% of something amazing. So I think if everybody especially our people, come into a mindset like that, I think we can conquer so much more.
Yeah, no, that's huge, man. And that's something I even had to learn as an entrepreneur is that, I probably could do all of those things, but then my time management. So I could build my own websites, but then I'm taking away from running a company. I can go in and delegate. I can start to learn to delegate those things. And I would say that was one of the big lessons that I've learned from a lot of my mentors. And as I continue to study just books on leadership. And I think that's one of the things that, a lot of us, especially as Black men, having individuals like yourself around that can really help to propel this generation of entrepreneurs, this generation of young men, whether it's athletes, whether it's in music, whether it's in business, whether they're just students, to really teach them, like you said, not only how to critical think, but how to become leaders. And I think that's where a lot of that decision making and those opportunities come into play. So yeah, definitely. So what's next for Cat, man? What do you have on your plate? What is it that you want the people to walk away with?
Well, I mean, for me, what I have on my plate right now, I'm really concentrating on cryptocurrency and NFTs, and our media company called Beyond Sports Media, and then my podcast that's going to be coming out called Dad's Point of View, giving us fathers a voice out there and explaining our ups and downs and how do we navigate through the world, right? I'm very excited about this token, Saitama. And I was actually on a call I got to talk to you about earlier. and it not just being a token. It's literally, it has so many different tentacles that's going to expand. Super excited to be on the ground level with. So, I think for me, diving into this cryptocurrency and the NFTs and launching this Beyond Sports Media, I think that's my new baby, my new project that I'm, head down, up early, so I guess sleep late kind of thing.
Definitely. So, man, Cuttino, I definitely appreciate you. My last question for you is like, what's that one thing you wish you had known? Or what is the one thing you wish someone would have taught you on this new journey of entrepreneurship and becoming that full-time CEO?
That's funny you say that, man. I don't do that for the simple fact that I believe in energy and I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. I do believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe in what, the things that has happened to a certain extent. But what I do understand about life is that what you know now, right? No matter if they told you 10 years ago, it's for you to accept it, right? So, it's like I was telling someone earlier, you can watch a movie at 15 and you might not get the message, but the words in the movie didn't change, right? You watch the movie again at 20. You watch it again at 25 and 30. Now you're looking at it from a different perspective.
Definitely.
So the words in the movie never changed. It's just that your perspective and your evolution of oneself is what changed. So now that message makes sense. You're there to accept it now. So you can't really force anything, right? No matter what someone told me when I was 15, I wasn't ready to receive it.
Wow.
Right? So if I'm ready to receive it, I'd have got it at 15.
I agree.
Definitely. Yeah. So that's for me.
No, and that's important that you say that, because I often speak with people, and I'm sure you've dealt with this too, when people are like, man, I feel I should be further in life. And I'm like, no, you are where you are. You are where you're supposed to be. And it could be because of the lack of decisions you chose to make or the bad decisions that you made prior to that. And so I 100% agree with that, man. I definitely appreciate you sharing that perspective. And so, man, definitely, how can people follow you? How can they stay in tune with you? You got all these different things going on, man. So we got to make sure people stay locked in with you.
Yeah, so on Instagram, I'm Cuttino's Life, CUTTINOSLIFE, Cuttino's Life. On Twitter, I'm the same thing, Cuttino's Life. I'm on Instagram majority of the time. Any fathers or whoever wants, advice about life or whatever it is, tips, I'll do my best to help. I'm as humble as they come, man. That's where you can find me. And like I said before, this crypto, the NFTs, and Beyond Sports Media, Dad's point of view is something I'm focusing on mostly right now.
Definitely, man. Well, I appreciate you, Cuttino, man. Thank you for taking time out of your dad's schedule to hop on this with us here today, and just continue to be a voice for us fathers, us men, us black men, and I appreciate everything that you do, everything that you stand behind, and just really being a leader for individuals and really leading by example, because it's a lot of people that talk, but it's very few that actually walk it and lead by example, man. So I definitely salute you. I want to make sure you get your flowers when I can give them to you face to face virtually. And I'm sure we'll be seeing each other soon in person, man. So I appreciate you, Cuttino. Thank you.
My guy, I'll see you soon, brother.
Absolutely. So this is Full-Time CEO, the Shit They Don't Tell You podcast, where I was on here with my brother, Cuttino Mobley. Definitely make sure y'all follow him. Make sure y'all support him. And again, make sure you tune in, because you never know who's going to drop into the next episode. My name is Will Roundtree, and I'll see you at the top. Peace.